What's going on, Knicks fans? We are back. Oh man, what a whirlwind. Knicks going up and down, figuring it out. They're done. It's a wrap. It's over. Oh, but hold that thought. Maybe then it's not over. Maybe the Knicks are back. Maybe we've written the ship or wrote the ship, write the ship, write at the ship. You know, the ship is moving. Anyway, Knicks are trying to keep the winning streak going, the new streak, because they've gotten back to business after that big Milwaukee Bucks win. Tonight they're playing the Detroit Pistons, but it's a close game, and they're losing. Does that mean the Knicks are done? I don't know, guys. We're going to talk about it. Stay tuned right after this. Let's go!
Say go, New York, go, New York, go. Say go, New York, go, New York, go. Say go, New York, go, new team, it's the same dream. New Knicks City units, boy, they stay clean. I just caught mine off of fanatics in the garden with my hands in the air, we back at it.
What's going on, everybody? We are back. Welcome to SKF Weekly. You see it. Pew, 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 pew. Anyway, what's going on? I'm your man, Ron. That's my brother, John. What's happening, bro? How you feeling?
Oh man, chilling, man. Watching this game. You know, it's right in front of me on my phone. You know, while we're on today, just seeing Kid. You know, just getting everywhere he wants to go in this game. It's crazy. It's crazy. There isn't anybody who's really slowing him up right now. So, the one concern that I have the most is Cat and that thumb. You know, what's going on with that? It's starting to affect his shot right now too. So. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
But
That's. I know. It's always something with these Knicks, man. Always something. Is Oh, now I see, because you were ahead of me probably. Yeah, you saw that before I saw it. Yeah, you knew it.
yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, currently the Knicks are losing 98-92. If you wasn't watching this game early, or if you're just tuning in now and don't know what's been happening, Knicks have been in a tough game with Detroit. Detroit has been, battling all game. Cade Cunningham is on one. He can't be stopped. Cade looks like he might be next up, man. One of the next up. He's not the guy, but he could be one of the guys. And Detroit's playing with passion, man. Oh boy, they got a good squad.
They're playing well.
Yeah, they got a good squad.
They're playing well as of late, right? They really turned the corner. Yeah. So, since
it's
Jaden Ivey has gone down, they started to really. I mean, with Jaden Ivey on the team, they were sort of turning the corner, but then he got hurt, and they still are, playing really good basketball too.
Ooh, look at Macau. Let's go, baby. Yeah, it seems like Detroit is they're just growing up. Like, these players are getting older. They're getting better. They're understanding their roles. They got a coach that believes in them. They're just playing good basketball. And, quiet as kept, they didn't really talk about him too much. But, you brought up Jaden Ivey. And before Jaden Ivey went down with the injury, he was averaging 18 points per game. So he was playing pretty well. Yeah, good for them.
And I think Malik B. Is it Malik Beasley? No, not Malik Beasley. What's the kid's name?
No,
is it Malik Beasley?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's playing well in place of Jaden Ivey too. And then they got that
Malik
young kid.
Beasley. What's his name, John? Malik Beasley might be the new dude. The guy we always talked about for years, like becoming a Knick because he was a Knick killer. He used to play with Orlando, Toronto.
Yes. I know
he had hops. He could shoot threes. Oh, man. But anyway, Malik Beasley be cooking the Knicks, B.
Yeah. Terrence Ross.
Terrence Ross. That's him. Yeah, man. He might be the new Terrence Ross, bro.
It's true. It's true.
And you're right. Cade cannot be stopped, bro. Come on. Get this
He's
one,
getting
baby.
Everywhere he needs.
Let's go. All right. Let's go, Cat. Meow. All right, I don't know where that came from. Let's go, man. We need something, man. 103-98. They just got to play some defense, clamp down. And, not for nothing. I know the Knicks don't really like to do this a lot. let's double Cade. Get the ball out of his hands. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, at
Well,
this point, you gotta double, right? Like, I mean, we don't double often, and we haven't doubled at all in this game, really. And OG is not even playing Cade like that. It's really, Macau. And
yeah,
he's getting every way he wants to go.
it's very
So you
true,
gotta
man.
do
It's a
something
sign
to
of
switch that
respect.
up.
Gotta respect the
No,
dude.
but
Young
you gotta
man's
do something to
balling.
switch it up.
You
Make
do.
someone else beat you. So
Oh, boy. I tell you.
in-game action, 9 minutes left. Let's go win this game. Come on, man.
That's what
So
I'm
right
talking
now,
about.
Macau is on the bench, and you're probably a little bit behind me, but it's 105.98 is what I'm saying.
105.98. I got 104.98. So somebody's at the free throw line, right? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
This guy. I forgot his name. But yes. Okay. Shout out to the chat. Appreciate you guys. 713 gamers in the building. Salute to you. Shout out to Lena Franklin. Let's go, Lena. Good to see you.
Yeah, man.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, this is where the Knicks need to kind of, take that all that momentum they got from the Milwaukee Bucks game and start to carry it over in this fourth quarter. Let's make some good, smart, basketball plays here. I like what Jalen Brunson is doing. So, honestly, John, I was thinking about it, and I think what Jalen Brunson was doing in that Milwaukee game was saying, I'm playing a certain way, but it's not really me. I'm just going to start playing the way I played last year, and we'll go from there. I don't know if I'm right. I feel like it could be the beginning of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's part truth to that, but there's also a part of it is that the way in which Milwaukee likes to play, sort of, they're not really doubling. They weren't doubling in yesterday's game. They were kind of playing one-on-one defense, man-to-man defense, and wasn't really showing him any new looks. And so that's kind of caters to his game anyway. So I don't know. This game they're doing a little bit of both, right? They're throwing doubles at him from time to time, and they're playing him straight up. So it's a bit of a
Good
combination where
play,
other teams,
Jalen.
yeah, where other teams are mostly, just doubling from jump, getting the ball out of his hands early,
Right. I kind of,
Yeah.
I think I want him to start like have the team start playing off of him. Like get
Versus
yourself
off of
going.
Cap.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Because I thought that's what they should do, but for whatever reason, they're struggling trying to do it. So Jalen might as well just go try to get his, let everybody else
Right.
play off of him, because it's not working the other
Yeah.
way. I mean, at least consistently, it isn't.
Mm-hmm. But then that goes to show you that, depending on the game, like sometimes you notice that he's kind of over dribbling at times, and it's like, well,
It's very true.
That's really the cause for concern for me. Is like when are you gonna make decisions whether you're gonna go or not, make him a little faster. That way, the defense is on his heels and not, being able to rotate on the defensive side of things. Keeping defenses off balance is the key. But again, we really struggle just with athletic teams that have length and have some athleticism because. Teams that got some height as well with athleticism is trouble for us because they could cover a lot more ground. You know what I mean? So
very true. Oh man. Let me see here.
So we had 3 games this week, right? Before today's game, we had 3. If I'm not mistaken, right? Raptors, Thunder, Bucks, right?
In that order, yep. Raptors, Thunders, and the Bucks. Jalen Brunson just knocked down a mid-range 2-pointers, 105-101, 7 minutes and 34 seconds left. Let's see. Okay. I thought they called some bogus foul on that play. All right, we're good. So yeah, man. I mean, it's a tough one, but we're hoping to pull this one out. You guys who are probably watching and not really focused on what we're saying right now, continue to watch. If something
Right.
crazy happens while we're talking, we'll point it out. But yeah, let's
We're watching.
get into the recap of the week so far, and we'll come back to this game by the time it's done. So to start off this week, we did have a good game against the
Toronto
Toronto
Raptors.
Raptors, and that was kind of a interesting game because of the fact that we got to see Emmanuel quickly, and
Finally back from injury, right?
yeah,
Because we haven't seen him yet.
and he looked like he was a decent contributor. It wasn't like one of them fugazi games. He had his little numbers. And
Right.
RJ was there. But the Knicks were able to pull out the victory. It was a good win for them. They definitely needed it after what happened prior to. So they wound up winning the game 112-98, in
Right.
which for whatever reason, even if OG shoots poorly for like 9 games in a row, when they play Toronto, all of a sudden he can shoot or play or
Yeah.
put up numbers. He had a really good game against Toronto. Um, he was the leading scorer for the Knicks, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see.
Yeah, I think he had
What was that?
27 is showing he had
He
27
had
right there.
27. That's right. Yep. He had 27. So, yeah, I don't know what it is about Toronto, but OG comes to play. But he wasn't by himself. I mean, Josh Hart had a great game, 21, 11, and 7. Karl Anthony Towns had 27 and 13. And Jalen Brunson kind of struggled. I mean, he not really struggled, but he didn't shoot a lot. And Mikal Bridges struggled though. Yet the
Right.
Knicks were able to get the victory. Because when you look at Toronto, they don't got a lot of firepower over there right now. It's RJ
And we
Barrett,
match up
Barnes, and
well.
Quickly.
Right. And
We
we match
definitely
up
do.
well, which is a big
We
key to
definitely
our
do.
victory there.
Um, whew. Oh my God! I thought he was going to shoot that.
And we got a few. You're a little bit behind us right now, so
Oh, jeez. Anyway, all I know is no matter how close the Knicks have gotten, they just got within 2. Now they're down 7 again. Well, at least that's what I see. I don't know what's
right.
happening here. This is rough stuff here. Can't make this stuff up.
Well, I'll tell
Anyway,
you this: some good defense coming your way.
oh, I see it. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. All right. So yeah, man. But this game was a much needed win for the Knicks. They needed to kind of get that losing taste out their mouth because they played OKC the previous Friday. Then they played the Bulls and lost. Then they played Orlando and
Orlando,
lost.
right?
So they were on a 3-game losing streak. So Toronto helped break that at least. Right. So
Right.
good job on that end. And definitely
And we
was needed.
talked about this week going like they were going right into it, right? It's like you're gonna see the Raptors, and even though we match up well against them, we're going right into the Thunder, right into the Bucks, and those are teams
Hmm.
who are formidable teams. Especially because the Thunder just, beat us in their home and they were coming to our home, you know
Right.
what I mean? And that was a big game. It was a huge game, at least for Knicks fans, it was.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to L. Damn it, in the building. Let's go, L.
Salute.
Appreciate you. Said salute to Monday's best hosts, Ron and John. Salute to the chat. Appreciate you. Thank you, L.
Appreciate it.
And shout out to everybody that may be watching, tuned in, or not, or in the chat. 'Cause I know it's going to be. The Knicks are playing right now, and this game is close, and we're actually losing. And so I know fans are they're locked in right now. But don't worry, we here
Yeah,
for you.
yeah, yeah. And they're gonna jump right in after the game.
Yeah, exactly. So, after that Toronto game, we got a nice victory kind of to break that losing, get that losing taste and smell out of here. And we go into a much anticipated rematch versus OKC now at Madison Square Garden. After what we saw in the last game where the Knicks had a chance to win the game, it came down to, last minutes in the fourth quarter and just execution, and OKC did a better job. okay, you're feeling all right. Next time we play them, we're at the Garden. We've got the home cooking. Let's get it. Let's do what we got to do. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Knicks lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder 126 to 101. And they made it look easy, man. Like this game to me, they played great defense in the first game, but they looked even better defensively in this game. Like they really locked in. It's like all they had to do was see what the Knicks look like this season, and put that in their memory bank and come out with a plan.
Mm-hmm. And Isaiah Joe just started out like on fire. Like he literally was knocking down every three, every shot, whether they're contested, whether they're not contested. He was knocking it down, and he was also playing solid defense on his guy. So, gotta give it up to the young talent that's over there in OKC, because they got a slew of it, and it just looks like they're going to continue to grow. And Chet's not even playing, so you know what I mean. And so they're going to be a really, really formidable team with Caruso out, Chet out. When they get back, if they get back, that just makes that team that much stronger, because they have weapons. They have young weapons in all different areas of that ball club. So,
100%. I got to tell you,
Yeah.
man. I mean, I don't know how you feel, John, but I mean, outside of Joker, outside of Jokic, I think Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is the best player in the league. I think he's
You said outside of
unstoppable.
Jokic?
Yeah,
I
outside of
think right
Jokic.
now, MVP caliber player right now. I mean, he should be in the running for MVP for this season. 100%.
I agree. Like it's tough because Jokic is doing some phenomenal things. His numbers are ridiculous. But I mean, is that what the MVP is? Yeah, I mean, of course, he's having a great season. He's putting up historic numbers, which is nuts. But
but it's also impact on the team.
Right. I thought that's what the most valuable player means, right? Like
It's
look at
impact,
what
right.
OKC is doing.
Yeah, you could put up the numbers, but if you don't have the same impact with OKC, even though they have the talent, it's the impact that he has on that team. It takes him over the top.
I agree. I think Shea is phenomenal, man. I think Shea is the new it guy. The NBA has been searching for a guy to kind of pass the torch to that will step into it and look the part. Even though Anthony Edwards has the ability, he hasn't really stepped into it yet. He's not consistent.
Yeah.
He's not like a must watch. He's the guy. You know what I mean? He's not there yet, in my opinion. But Shea definitely looks like he's there.
No, I agree with you. I think he's there as a talent for sure, 100%. But do you think the NBA themselves are sort of vying to have that player be from American soil versus international soil? You think that's a play?
I mean, I would think they would. Yeah, I would think that they would definitely want that. I just don't know who is the person that they can, depend on to be that guy. They've tried to. I mean, they tried to get John Morant to be that guy, but John Morant has his own issues. They've tried to kind of hint to Anthony Edwards and put spotlight on him, even though he doesn't do himself any favors by his inconsistent play and his mouth.
Yeah.
He's not the ideal guy for that role. So they've been trying to use those two guys, but who else is?
And then Jason Tatum doesn't give you enough off the court,
right? And he's a very quiet, like soft-spoken type of dude,
Correct.
Yeah.
And so they're sort of hard pressed to find, who that next superstar, American superstar, basically, that's gonna, take on the reins. And I think that's really what's going on. I mean, they kind of play into the MVP, and but as far as like that superstar to take it to the next level or to be that guy, they're holding on to Curry as much as they can, and LeBron still. It almost seems like you see a lot more commercials with them. So, and that, it goes to show you, like OKC, as good as they are, I don't really see any sort of any branding efforts to get SGA more light. You know what I mean? as far as like being on commercials. I mean, I see Anthony Edwards get all the Sprite commercials right now, so it's
true.
also
It's true.
who they're connected to, right?
Yeah, no, you're
Sneakers
right.
are selling well. His sneakers sell well because all the kids are rocking, the Ant-Man sneakers. Those and the Hardens, those are the two that go, that are sort of like trending.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. SGA for me though,
Uh,
he should be up for MVP though. That's I agree with that.
no, I agree too. I mean, definitely, I would say give it to him. It's like I feel like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like if Jokic is playing great, Jokic should always be in the conversation, but that doesn't mean every year he should win it.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. Like he already got it one year where he shouldn't have got it. Right, that year that he won one of the
Embiid,
years, one of those years he
arguably.
won, Embiid should have got it. Right.
Right.
And then they gave it to Embiid, right?
When he
Yeah, they gave
shouldn't
it to
when
Embiid the year he
Jokic should
shouldn't
have
have
won it.
won it, right? So it's like,
Mhm.
it is what it is. But hopefully
What's
they get it right this year.
What is the Nuggets standing right now in the West?
So currently
They fourth?
they are fourth. Yes, they're
Yeah.
23 and 15.
So
They're fourth.
I think the argument is that by the end of the year they expect them to be, vying for first or second place. And if they can do that and he's putting up the numbers that he puts up, then there's the argument there. But as of right now, if the season ended today, I'm picking Shea over him because of the impact he has
I
had
agree
so
with
far.
that. And you make a really good point, John, because when you look at it, they're fourth, but I mean, they are like a couple games behind third and second, right? They're right there.
Right.
And it's 25 and 12 for Houston. Houston is number 2 in the West. Imagine.
And they're a surprise
Unbelievable.
team.
Exactly.
Just the way
So
they,
yeah,
they come out and played.
very true. Denver can definitely get to back they can definitely get to that second spot. They ain't catching OKC though. OKC's out of here.
No,
I
they
think
keep
OKC is
winning.
going to keep winning. Yeah.
They just keep
Yeah.
winning. Right. Right.
Yeah. So, but we haven't talked about it. I don't know if they're even talking about him really because they're playing such good team basketball. But listen, Cleveland's doing some phenomenal things. Maybe, Donovan
Yeah.
Mitchell should be in consideration. But it's just they're playing a little bit
Right.
more unselfish. It's not necessarily
Yeah.
so much depending on one guy over there. So that's why I didn't bring him up.
Plus, I mean, has he had a 40-point game this year so far? If he has, it was early on. No one really took
Yeah, that's a
notice,
good question.
Um,
I don't know.
I think he has decent numbers. I don't think he has his numbers don't stand out on the page, right? When you look at when you're voting all stars, those numbers that they have there, they don't like pop out at you, Actually, the player that does pop out at you, or at least at me it did, was LaMelo Ball. I didn't know he was scoring that much.
I know, averaging 30. It's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't took me by surprise. Like I
You
would
know
have
what?
thought
And
like Trae
listen,
Young, but
listen, maybe that's the reason why Cleveland is being successful because you don't see Donovan Mitchell dropping 40, 50, 60, 70.
I think
Maybe
he's
that's
averaging
the
like
key.
23 this year, which is a low in his career. Like
I mean,
he's usually high 20s, right? Like 28.
check this out. The last 3 games. Now they lost to the Pacers. And he had 19, right? But they beat OKC, he had 11. They beat Charlotte,
Right.
he had 19. They beat Dallas, he had 15.
That's what
So
I mean.
when they
He's
play
not
better
putting
team
up the numbers.
basketball, that could be
He's
it.
not the one, right? He's being
Yeah.
unselfish. He's playing unselfishly. Mobley's having a career year. And that's been the biggest shift where he's being asked to score more and being a part of the offense. And it helps with his defense too. He's played like on that Thunder game. That was a good game. I watched that game from start to finish. And he really showed out on that game.
Yeah.
But
Their
all in all, man,
bigs
they
are
got a good
actually
team.
doing stuff. Their bigs are actually doing stuff. Good for them.
And they're not injured.
Well,
They're not injured. That was the big thing.
Yes. Very true. Man, Mikal is a weird Jekyll and Hyde dude himself, bro. When he wakes up, he wakes up. So just a little score check because it's really down to the wire. On my end, I got 1 minute and 16 seconds. The Knicks are down by 118, 117. I don't know. Cade misses the
I don't know.
shot. The Knicks get the rebound. John already knows this, but I don't know what's happening. Brunson's got the ball driving. Oh, little offensive foul action. Let's go. Oh, let's go, Cat. Show them what you do with these offensive fouls, B. Damn it. I'm being sarcastic, folks. This is not a good thing. Moving screen. That's a kind of touchy foul. But, you know, Cat be doing stuff like that. He don't be knowing what he be doing sometimes. You gotta let him go. It's 5 personal fouls. Oh, man. Cade's got the ball again. We're going to stop right here for a second, folks. Cade's got the ball. It's 43 seconds on my clock. Oh, the pass out wide open to Malik, the 5-foot freak, and he knocks it down. Oh, boy. 120-117. Knicks down 4 with 35 seconds. That doesn't bode well, folks. That does not bode well. Brunson driving to the with the 2, up and under. 121-119, 29 seconds. The game ain't over. You get a stop here, get the ball back, you got a shot. See what they do. I'm not looking at John's face. I'm get away from John's face because he knows what's going on. Nope. His face will tell me everything. Look at this defense. Oh, come on. I don't even understand. So one of the pet peeves I have with a Knick team, the dumbness. I hate the dumbness. Everybody wants to be the villain. Oh, okay. Now, you've never been a villain anywhere, buddy. You're a role player. You're playing well. I give them that. But all this stupid stuff, I save that for the star players. Like, if you know in this game, the 2 people you got to worry about is Cade Cunningham and Malik Beasley. You're doubling Cade. You get the ball in his hand. Tim Hardaway Jr. makes the right call, decides not to shoot it, and let me pass it one more time to the open hot guy. And no one's there. And then you look at the guy who ran out. Who was sleeping? Cat. And that is where the Knicks run into a problem, because as good as Karl Anthony Towns is, defensively, he's in nowheresville. I'm not saying he's the cause of all of this tonight. I'm just saying plays like that, the whole team has to buy in. If you decide to double team, people have to rotate because you're going to get burned all the time. You have to rotate. People got to be moving.
The question
this time
is
it was
why
Cat.
Double team at this moment in the game?
I don't know why you double team now when you're down 1 point.
And why is Brunson guarding Cade instead of being with Beasley? Why? It just doesn't make sense. Like certain things that Tibbs is doing and calling on the defensive side doesn't make any sense. How do you have that matchup coming off of, a walk-in? It's basically
and Knicks only got 1 timeout. So I was gonna say maybe they could do like the the offensive defensive substitution thing, but they only got 1 timeout.
Right, but like knowing you came out of a timeout or you came out of basically a stop in the action. You come in not knowing who you're supposed to be defending. This is a terrible loss. It's a terrible loss. You can't lose against the Pistons. These are games you cannot lose.
What it
Harris
does,
hasn't. It's crazy.
What it does is, unfortunately, even though I'm confident that the Knicks will be fine, they're going to have a really good season, and they're going to have really good moments. These are the type of games that show you that there is a flaw in the system. There's a flaw that needs to be fixed, because this is the type of stuff that contending teams don't do. Like, in order to be a really good contending team, you win these games. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So that's that, folks. We're going to come right back to this game and do our recap of it. But let me bring you back to some good news. The Knicks did get to play the Milwaukee Bucks again.
Right.
And Milwaukee Bucks just is a poor. It's so weird how time changes over the years. 3 years ago, the Milwaukee Bucks was a bad matchup for the Knicks. Now they
Right.
are a fantastic matchup for the Knicks. It's
Right.
like it's barbecue chicken when the Knicks play the Milwaukee Bucks, and
It's also
they won.
predicated on the defensive players that they lost.
True, very true. So yeah, in this game, the Knicks wound up beating the Milwaukee Bucks 140-106 in just a start to finish, a barrage of Knick offense. I mean, Knicks had 75 points, I think, at the half. They just, they woke up. They were having issues for the last 15 or so games shooting the three consistently. As a matter of fact, the last 15 games, they shot the three at a 30% clip. At the last the last 10 games, they were shooting at a 28% clip. So the Knicks have been shooting very poorly from three, but in this game against Milwaukee, they shot 43.9% from three and 58% from the field, 83% from the free throw line. They were just cooking. And it was long overdue, John.
It's true. Finally got some, shots to drop, And again, it really started with Brunson being aggressive, playing aggressive, and at Karl Anthony Towns, right? They were the two leading scorers in that game. So,
Right.
they pretty much managed the game, managed to play well against their matchup. And I think OG did a pretty good job containing Adetokounmpo, even though he's going to do what he does. But yeah, it was just the balance in scoring was sufficient enough. We got campaign sighting. He played well. Yeah, I thought we played good. I think it really goes down to like how the Bucks decide or strategize to play defense against us. They don't really double. They pretty much stay man to man for most of the game, which is a mismatch for like Brook Lopez because he ain't gonna be able to guard Brunson going downhill, and no one. They had no answer for Brunson. Really, nobody who could guard him 1-on-1 straight up.
Yeah, that's 100% facts, man. Brunson was on one. This was also not, the whole team has been struggling from three, but so is Jalen Brunson. This was a coming out party for him to get his three ball going. He had 5 threes in that game. So it was good to see that. And you would hope that the Knicks wake up and that translates into better shooting from them going forward. But they definitely, the good thing about it, and this is why I say I think the Knicks should start replaying in the reverse. If they were trying to do it, the way it seemed obvious to most of us to kind of play through Cat, I think for just the way this team is, maybe it's a little difficult. So play through Brunson because you can see Brunson can be on one and cooking. And when he starts forcing the issue, it doesn't necessarily mean that Cat can't eat because Brunson did his thing and he was cooking. And Cat, on only 16 shot attempts, finished with 30 points and 18 rebounds. So he can always still be a big factor in the game, with limited touches. He doesn't got to shoot the ball a lot to be effective. So,
I mean,
it was
but
very
then
nice to see.
Then we point to today's game, and Brunson was taking initiative and shooting. So the reverse happens today, where Karl Anthony Towns doesn't shoot efficient from the field, and Brunson does all the scoring, and then we end up losing the game. Not to, I don't know. What OG had 10 today. Josh had 12 and 14. That's pretty decent numbers. Macau had 27 points today. You know what I mean? And 9 of 13 shooting, and we still lost today. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it really came down to Karl Anthony Towns not shooting it efficiently.
You can't make this stuff up, bro. There's no rhyme or reason. Yeah. But in fairness to Karl Anthony Towns, I mean,
the injury.
He wasn't the same once he hurt that thumb. I mean, he still was able to hit a couple shots, but the thumb thing kind of messed up. I think this game would have been totally different had he not hurt his thumb. I don't know. I don't want to give it excuses, but I do think that was a factor because bottom line is the Knicks defense. It's got to wake up. Like there's
43
something
minutes,
not
Carl
right,
Anthony Towns with a messed up thumb. 43 minutes. I'm just saying.
and that doesn't make sense either.
Doesn't
That
make any
doesn't make
sense.
sense either.
Like, why
I
not
think
break
that
away, go to the locker room, give somebody else some minutes there? Like, do something. Like
why wouldn't you
Brunson
try
did
to
it.
use? Yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't you try to throw in Huck Porty in this game?
Yeah, I don't know.
And the only reason I'm saying that is because of the fact that Detroit is undersized. Their bigs are small.
Right.
Why not?
Plus, he just got injured. Why not pull him
Yeah,
off to the side and get him checked out? Have a moment. You know.
I don't
I don't
know.
get it.
I
I don't
don't
get
get
it.
it either. I don't know. I can't
At
can't
some
then.
point, at some point in the season, Tibbs has to coach the team, bro. He has to legit coach the team. He can't allow the team to dictate whether they're gonna have play heavy minutes or choose to play heavy minutes or not. Like, if you're out there and you're playing hurt, call a timeout, get them right, send them to send them to the locker room, give Hawk Porty some minutes or give Sims some minutes. I don't care, but get them right, because you know
And the other thing too is like, not for nothing, but we're still in that same funk. We're still in that same thing. Like, what's wrong here? What is missing? Why is it Tibbs? Does Tibbs have to say something, or like what's going on? Because
it's on
um,
the team, bro. The team got it. They're gonna have to. You know what's interesting? The loss that we had to the Thunder, it was almost like, we'll pick it up the next game. This is gonna happen through
mhm,
the season. Like,
mhm.
this is the NBA. Teams are good. The players are good. You know, we're not gonna win every night. It's kind of the same old story, and there isn't there's no backbone. There isn't no, like, we can't continue to play like this. There isn't that kind of conversation. You know what I mean?
Right.
There isn't like what's there isn't like what's the right thing that I'm looking for? Like
Yeah, a killer
there
instinct
isn't
or something.
well, killer instance or an urge to like get it right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we got time to figure it out. It's kind of
Right. Right. There's no
there's no
sense of urgency.
urgency.
Right.
Urgency, that's what I'm looking for. Right. There's no sense of
Yeah.
urgency from this team. And that to me is gonna be their Achilles heel if they continue that way. Because at some point, after the All-Star break, you gotta have a sense of urgency to want to win as many games as you possibly can and to go into the playoffs as hot as you possibly can. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they're waiting until after the All-Star break to start really, like, you know, pressing the issue. But as of right now, it looks weird because it's like you got a good team and you see moments of like good basketball, and then you see moments like we've seen today where the defense isn't quite there. You know what I mean? They're like not hitting all cylinders because it really wasn't there was some offensive struggles, but we scored 117 points and we gave up 123. So I don't know.
124. Yeah. 119, 124.
124.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there has to be,
Yeah.
a sense of urgency at some point in this season. Whether they choose to have a players meeting, where they choose to just lock in and hold each other accountable. But as of right now, on the fan side, I'm not seeing that, and that's me coming off of a 3-game losing streak, getting a win against Toronto that is like we match up well, so I'm not putting anything on that. And then you lose again at home to the Thunder, and then it was like after that game, it was like the same old talking points, like, yeah, we don't like to lose in this fashion. And then I think probably Hart was probably the only one who said people got to start playing, you know, selfishly. You know what I mean? And which he said before, so, there
It's
must be
true.
something to that.
There's
Something
got
to
to
that.
be something, bro, and there's got to be some commitment to defense again. Like
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham is a really good player. There's a reason why Detroit felt the need to give this young man $205 million.
Right.
But the dude was in foul trouble. You know, he comes back in the game and you let him go off for 36 points. Like in
Yeah.
foul trouble in 32 minutes, he scored 36 points. Like what are we doing here? Where's the
Right.
commitment to defense? And our biggest asset is the fact that we've got, really good wing defenders. And if you want to throw Josh in there, you can throw him in there as well. But between McCall and OG, all right. To your point, what you were talking about, like why is Jalen Brunson on Cade Cunningham so much throughout this game? Multiple
Makes sense.
times. Like, I don't know.
And it wasn't like he was coming off of like pick and rolls and getting like tap like like they were forcing the action to
Like
like
Brunson was
tap
getting
in.
caught in the switch or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like that wasn't the case. So
If anything, Brunson
it's
started
wild.
off on him, and Detroit was avoiding switching. It was like, no pick.
Right.
Just let Cade do his
We stay
thing.
right here. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like I'm not sure what the scheme was for today's game. You know what I mean? In fact, I think the better matchup would have been Brunson on Malik Beasley. They're similar in
Yeah.
stature. You know what I mean? Similar speed. I would have rather see, OG on Cade or even Josh Hart on Cade. Mix it up.
Yeah. And the other thing too is you get to see the differences and this is just an indictment on our team. It has nothing to do with who we're playing. It just when we match up, it is this like you can look at the difference between the benches. And I think this
Mhm.
game came down to the benches, to be honest. I think the difference is like when the starters are out there doing what they're doing, and if they have any type of struggles, when they start to come out the game and the bench has to give you some valuable minutes, that can be the difference in the game where you see that's where the team, the opposing team might take the lead or build on the lead. I mean, they had off their bench, was that 729. 36, 40. They had 46 points off the bench.
Yeah.
And
But
it
see,
wasn't like,
I would
okay, they
say
had,
that
oh no, I was just going to say, it wasn't like it was like they had 46 points off the bench because,
right.
their team is like kind of lopsided. So only a couple No, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, wait, 5, 6. 6 guys in double figures, and their whole starting lineup was in double
Mhm.
figures. So, all right, go ahead, John. What
Right.
were you going to say?
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said there, but then the flip side is Tibbs didn't really play the bench. There was 9 minutes by Precious, 16 by Miles Bridges, Landry Shamet had 4, Cameron Payne had 13. They
Right,
didn't
but
play enough minutes to make an impact.
even that is a problem, right? Okay, Shamit, fine, right. And then Precious, we know Precious ain't doing nothing. But if Deuce McBride plays 16 minutes, almost 17 minutes, you got to take more than 2 shots, Deuce. Like he's got to score more.
How?
Like we got 13 points off the bench.
But,
Like
but this is the reason why folks are saying Jalen's overuse on the ball is the cause for this because he's taking 24 shots, Cat's taking 17, right? Who else is going to get the bulk of the shots, right? Because Macau shot 13 and shot it efficiently. Miles Bridges didn't have an opportunity to shoot because all the shots were
oh,
taken between Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns.
Ronald Holland II had 6 points in 14 minutes.
But had more opportunities to shoot.
Maybe
This
so.
is what I'm saying.
Maybe
Like
so. Maybe so.
there's an imbalance in usage, right? There's an imbalance, and I'm not opposed to Jalen Brunson putting up, buckets or putting up numbers, but is it a detriment to the team if other players can get involved in the action? The
But here's
reality
the
is that
oxymoron.
he's
Here's the
playing too much for
oxymoron,
Jalen
John.
Brunson, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah.
It's
Well,
like
that's
Miles
it.
Miles and Payne should be together and not with Brunson. That's my opinion.
I think that is the key. When Jalen Brunson is on the floor, Jalen Brunson should be Jalen Brunson, right? The way you combat that is give Jalen Brunson a rest so other guys can get involved and do things. But when Jalen Brunson is out there, Jalen Brunson needs to be Jalen Brunson for the Knicks to win, right? And
Right.
even there's going to be people that look at it and want to blame Brunson for how he played. Brunson only took 24 shots. 24 shots is a good amount of shots, but it's not egregious. We've seen Jalen Brunson take 29, 30 plus,
When he
but
had
he
to,
took
right?
the 24 shots and he also had 11 assists. So you
Yeah,
can't
no, he
even
played
blame
well,
him for that.
but you can't blame the bench either because the bench didn't get enough time.
I
You know
guess
what I
if you
mean?
want
Like
to say that,
it,
that's fair.
yeah, because if you
That's
think
fair.
about it, Brunson's out there with both Campaign and Deuce. Why? Why are we playing a three guard rotation? For what purpose? Because it didn't help us defensively. It actually it hurts us. So why are we doing so? When you also have a Shaman who's probably like 6'4", maybe a little bit taller than Campaign, and you got him running small forward. You know what I mean? So like there's there's a size differential when you look at the benches and who Detroit is putting out there versus who we're putting out there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, so I just don't know. We got to fix it up. And to be honest with you, I would playing right now, I would choose between Deuce and Payne, whoever you want to choose as a coach, and go with that and go to a young player like a Daddy A with more size at this moment in time, just to see what he can do for you. You know what I mean? Someone with a little bit more length to them, because right now we're getting beat not necessarily because of skill. I think it's more of the size and what the matchup looks like out there.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because we're already undersized. We're running hard at the 4, so we're already undersized. OG is not really playing the 4; he plays the 3, and then he switches to the 4. You know, and the same goes for Precious. Precious is playing heavy minutes at the 5. Why? For what purpose? That to me doesn't make sense when we're playing teams that are a lot more athletic than us. They're younger than us. They're fast. Like we gotta do a better job of putting matching a player to player. I think Tibbs has to do a better job of that because that's affecting us right
Yeah.
now.
No, I agree. I agree. We definitely like I said, I'm most disappointed in the commitment to defense. The defensive side of the
Right.
basketball is lacking. It's definitely lacking. I don't know what's going
Right.
on because I you know what I haven't seen from Tibbs is the and this is what I've seen in previous Tibbs teams for the Knicks. That's why I'm bringing it up. I haven't seen the fire in the bed, the fire in the belly. The Knicks are not executing on defense. He gets into them, right, and then they come out with a new defensive intensity. I haven't seen a lot of that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I just haven't witnessed a lot of it. If anything, they just play the same throughout the whole game. Like this, there's no excuses for the lack of defense that I saw in this game, allowing Cade Cunningham to just cook that way, even being in foul trouble. And I'm saying I know Cade is good, and the thing about Cade is he's got size. He's a big player,
Yeah.
so that makes it a little tough. But still,
But
you
why you're not
have to
attacking
figure
him?
out right, and you got to figure out if the matchups are going to continue to be an issue, then you have to figure out ways to get Brunson off of Cade. But fine,
Oh yeah.
say that's your matchup all night that you're just not going to win. You double team and then you don't rotate and you leave Malik Beasley open, the one guy who's been cooking from 3 all night, he's a flamethrower. I don't know, man. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I
But
don't get it.
again, we're good enough to beat poor teams. That's the thing. Teams that are playing well, we're struggling against. Teams that are playing good basketball we're struggling against. Teams that are not playing well or just getting healthy, we're able to beat, as we've seen in this sort of like 10-game, at last 10 games, you could see that we've beat teams that are probably under 500, you know what I mean? And they have struggled. The only team is the Bucks that we won against, really, in the last 10 that are making any noise. But the teams that we struggle with are the teams like Orlando. I mean, we don't actually struggle against Orlando because we beat them
Right.
3 out of the 4
Right.
times, but they had outnumbered this last game. You know what I mean? With a bench, because it wasn't like Banchero was back or nothing like that. It was just an awful game to
No
witness.
Banchero, no Wagner brothers, no
No
Suggs.
nothing,
Unbelievable.
no no nothing.
It's
They had
unbelievable.
Cole Anthony and Anthony Black, and
And you can't even
like I said,
say you
to
can't
win
even
enough,
say
those guys stepped up, right?
they did. You can't even say Cole Anthony, for example. You could expect him to cook us. I mean, he does because he loves playing the Knicks, but he's like relegated.
Right.
He's like the third or fourth option off that on that team, and he just had to step up and play for them. Like,
Yeah.
ah, man. Listen, it is what it
You know
is.
what I
Shout out to the
noticed in the
chat.
Thunder game?
What's that?
On that Thunder game, before we go shouting out everybody, we got a lot of folks here. Appreciate you for all jumping in. But in the Thunder game, the only person who was showing any intensity was Josh Hart. That entire game.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's crazy.
You're right. You're right.
So so I would be mad if I was him, because I'm like, am I the only one in this game? Am I the only one who wants to win? Like, and even today is like, he didn't even put in that kind of effort today that he did against the Thunder, because he knew how important that Thunder game was. And today he's like, well, if nobody else cares, what the hell am I gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, can't let it get away from us that way,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and the other thing too, like, how I you can't always use this to gauge effort, but we had 5 steals, right? And so,
a
they
team that
had 8
turnovers
steals,
turns the ball over too.
right? Like,
It's not
we're
like they
not
protect the
being
ball.
as active as we could be in the
Right.
passing lanes. And I'm not I'm not trying to get on Deuce a lot, but I'm just noticing like Deuce has not been playing well. I know his numbers, when you look at his actual stats, they don't look that bad. They look on par with last year. But as far as his impact coming off the bench and the pressure of replacing guys like Dante, giving us those points we need, or just even the defensive impact, his shot has not been falling. Tonight he didn't even get a good chance to shoot, but his shot has not been falling. If you look at the nights where he does get some shots, he hasn't been hitting them at a high clip. And then his defense, like, Deuce used to be like a thief. Like, he used to be getting into the passing lanes. He used to get steals. Like, he's not even impacting as much on that. Tonight, he almost had one. He did stick his long arms out and he hit the ball and it popped up in the air, but they got it back. But like, we need guys to lock in again on defense. I think the fact that we have such an offensive juggernaut and such an incredible starting 5, maybe people get a little, rest on their laurels a little bit. They don't realize that, you got to step it up, man. You got to put the effort in on the defensive end. We need that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro.
Plus, you've seen him. Who was he guarding today? Right? With Brunson out there, with a 3-man guard rotation, like, it really comes down to like, what's your matchup? And to be honest with you, I think he's kind of like trying to figure it out. Like, why, he's playing off ball most of the time. He's not even on ball.
And he's
Why?
definitely undersized. He's definitely undersized as well.
Why? It doesn't make sense. It's because of the rotation's wrong. You have a rotation where you're playing guys who are undersized, and then you're keeping Brunson with those guys. You're keeping Brunson in there, making it even more of a hurdle to overcome, thinking that offense is gonna be more efficient, but you're not really getting anything on the defensive side. Not to mention, we got no rim protection. Right? We got no rim protection outside of Precious. None. Zero.
Oh boy,
There's zero rim protection. That's the key.
you ain't lying. You definitely ain't lying. Let me shout some of you guys out that are here, and then before we get out of here, maybe John and I will think about what can the Knicks do going forward to kind of change this up a little bit. John already gave his first thought, which is the rotation, changing up some of these looks, because he makes a good point. Maybe that's a big problem. This being undersized and playing these type of guys is as much as we love them, they can't really play together. So we got to figure this out. Shout out to Latorius in the building. What's going on, Latoria? Good to see you. Andios is in the building. Salute, Andios. Please, guys, go support Andios on Instagram. Show him some love. Angel Torres is in the building. We got Jaden Sammy here. Long Island Sound in the building. Hey, our guy Chop Low is here. Salute, Chop Low. Appreciate you. We got the Art Man, formerly known as Steve, in the building. Salute, Art Man. HRM the Great is here. APAP is in the building. Nick P is here. JJ47K is in the building. Salute. Craig is in the building. What up, Craig? We also got No Cap Life Analyst is here. Salute to you. M. Gene, a member of the SKF Army, is in the building. Salute to you. Appreciate you. Nick Yak is here. Salute, Nick Yak. Shah Francis here. We got our guy IBW Dan in the building. What up, Dan? Appreciate you. Good to see you. Tay Tay is here. Salute, Tay Tay. Jimmy Henry, another member of the SKF Army. Salute to you, my brother. Appreciate you. We also got Randu is here. He's in the building. What up, Randu? Brooklyn Knicks fans is here. Mega NYK is in the building. M. Gene is here, a member of the SKF Army. Salute to you. And Woody Stephanie, I think that is correct, is in the building. Also, Cardiac Knicks is here. Salute to you guys. Thank you, everybody, for being here and showing love. Marlon Khan is in the building. What up, Marlon? Good to see you. It's nice to see everybody kind of start trickling in after the game is over. Appreciate you guys. Big Mike is in the building, too. Salute, Big Mike. So, John, is there anything else you think they can do outside of the rotation, which I think is big? I think that's a smart call. They definitely should tinker with that and maybe try to have a bigger lineup up there, depending on the matchup. But yeah, I think that you're right on that. Is there anything else you think they should do?
Get on those phones because February's around the corner, and figure out a way to. I mean, listen. The reality is, figure out a way to get better without getting dinner. You know what I mean? Figure out a way, because the reality is that right now we've been playing three guards, and you can't say that that's gonna be helpful in any situation. Not when you're playing kids, young talent that's 6'4" and better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the height differential is at least 2 to 3 inches on the, when we're up against, taller teams like the Hawks and, the rest of them. So I don't know. I don't see a need to keep putting, like, if you're gonna play Shamit, play him at the 2. Don't play him at the 3. He's not a 3, right? He's 6'4". You could probably get away with him playing at the 2. But if you're gonna play Shamit, that means you can't play Payne, right? You can't play Payne because one of the two, they're almost sort of identical, because Deuce gives you more defensively if you have him in the point guard, if he's playing the point guard position. But he's not a distributor, right? He's more of a needs the ball in his hands to get going, scoring point guard. And if you're going to play Kolek, then that means you got to go away from all of them. You get what I'm saying? That's super deep down the bench, right? So, like, the key is you got too many short guards on this team, along with Brunson. Brunson's our guy. He's the captain. So you're not going away from Brunson. Now you got to do a better job of solidifying your bench 2 and your bench 3. The bench 3 can't be a guy coming off the bench that's 6'3". Can't be. It's impossible to make a rotation work that way. It's just, it doesn't work in today's NBA. You need long, athletic players who can play good defense, who can stretch the floor out, and that's what you need. A 3-and-D guy.
I can't argue with that.
So
I can't argue with that.
Who's out there? Who in our roster can we say has a little bit of stock in them that we could go out and trade them as an asset and attach a first-round pick or a second-round pick to get a guy like a Herb Jones or someone who is a 3-and-D guy, right? Who could give us some length and some minutes off the bench, right?
Well, the problem is, for example, Herb Jones got hurt. He's out for the season.
No, I was just saying a player like
no. I know you're saying like a Herb Jones, but I'm saying what happens is by Herb Jones getting hurt, he takes himself out of the equation, but he also takes like Trey Murphy out of the equation as well, because now they need Trey. You know what I mean? Like now it kind of lessens the stock of guys you can get. So I mean, it stinks.
But this is why I call for Daddy, right? Like let's look at a Daddy. Let's even look at a Jacob Toppin. He's what, 6'6"? Like he may not be ready. He may not be ready. No, whatever he may be, but he may not be ready. But he'll give you some, he'll give you at least effort on the defensive side. At least effort coming off the bench. Like we need somebody with some length. We can't just keep rolling out Shamet with Payne and Deuce. It don't make no sense. Or Deuce and Payne and Brunson. It don't make enough sense. It doesn't. Like for me, I'd rather have Hart playing the 2 and bring in Hawk Porty and Sims to fill up some minutes on the bigger side of things. How they would do against the stretch 4, I don't know. Remains to be seen. But at the very least, they can cover at least some ground on the defensive side against smaller, centers.
Shout out to Keith Turner. He said Tibbs ain't giving Dottie a no burn.
He ain't. He's not. He's not going to give any rookies burn. He's not.
Well, I don't know if you saw this. There was 2 things. One, I didn't know this myself. I just found this out the other day, and I mentioned it on Saturday's show. Dottie actually hasn't been playing that well in the G League, which is not good, right? Because the G League is developmental, but also the defense is not that great in the G League, and guys have been cooking. I mean, freaking Kolek had a triple-double, like.
Right.
So it's not really great when you go to the G League and you've been there more than any other Nick, and you're not really eating down there. So unfortunately, that's not good.
He's also 18. He's 18 years old.
True. So. No, he's young. He's young. Wet behind the ears.
Young.
Smelling like Similac. Right. So, I get it. But there was an article the other day, about the Knicks looking to find a developmental coach to work with their young rookies because they are not satisfied with the current trajectory.
So when you taking a job?
Man, hey man, listen.
When crazy, are you saying yes to the job, bro? That's what I'm wondering. When are you saying I'm ready, I'm available, I'll be there Monday?
I just,
when's that happening, bro?
I don't know, man. I tell you one thing, that's not a good sign, bro. That's not a good sign. I didn't think they were that bad.
There's no one in. That shows you there isn't anyone internally who's really, that guy. I mean, that was really what
it does point back to the
Johnny Bryant was big
development team. Johnny Bryant,
but that was where he was big, right? Where he was big there because he was a developmental type of coach. Same thing with the guy who was really cool with Randall. I forget his name. He ended up taking the college job. Paint, not.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah, Kenny Payne,
Kenny Payne.
right?
Okay.
Kenny Payne.
I thought I was yes, Kenny Payne.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, you lose track of these guys, and then you bring in an NBA coach in what's this guy? Meeks.
Oh,
I'm
Mo
saying the
Cheeks.
wrong person. Mo Cheeks, and like, you know, he's coached before, so it's like you're doing him a favor, but you're not really doing the team a favor if you bring in a guy. Because the last we heard, or I heard on some podcasts, he wasn't well liked by some of their players that he coached. So that's just a favor for a favor, really.
That was a favor. That is definitely a
Mm-hmm.
favor. Yeah. I mean, sometimes maybe the Knicks are too worried about certain aspects of the team, budgets,
Mm-hmm.
staying under that second apron, and in doing that, you don't. I mean, this is a championship contending team. You don't necessarily think,
Mm-hmm.
we drafted these guys. We think we got good value for where we drafted them. You don't necessarily think, let's work into putting emphasis on a developmental coach because we've got a championship
Right.
built team right now. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening that is eye opening. I think it's important for the front office to learn from, and maybe they're a very adaptable front office. Maybe they can learn from this on the fly quickly and make some changes, or if at the very least, the Knicks play this season out, do the best they can, see what that takes them to, and then next year they'll be much better suited to deal with certain things that they may not have focused on this year. Because now they realize, oh, there's much more to this that we didn't really account for. I don't know, bro,
I
but
hope that
we
isn't
still in
true.
this
I
season.
hope that isn't
I
true.
hope you're
I
wrong.
hope that
I hope
isn't
I'm
true.
wrong.
I hope that whatever that was a rumor and it's not true, because that'll be crazy that we go into this season without someone who can develop while playing in season, develop the young players to be ready for an opportunity if given one. That's crazy to me. Um, but even let's look beyond that and say, would you be opposed to running hard off the bench for
No,
Precious?
not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Would
I think that
would you be
I think that's what they
opposed?
should do.
Would you be opposed to having a bench of Cam, Shamit, or Cam, Deuce, Hart, and then Hawk Porty off the bench with Sims? Would you be opposed to any combination of that?
I wouldn't be opposed to it at all. I think that
Right.
that would make a
So,
lot of sense to do.
right. I mean, at this point in time, you can't bring in Warren, right? Because they say TJ Warren can't play until March or be brought up till March. So you don't have many options. Why not use what's available to you to see what spark you can get? Now, if it don't work, fine, but you got to give it an opportunity. Like you've given Sims an opportunity to play heavy minutes, and he did all right. But for me, there's no rim protection, and that's what's missing. And that's a little bit of something that Hawk Porty can give you. He may not be the best defensively when it comes to like perimeter defense or staying with a fast guard, but if someone's coming at the rim, he could get one or two blocks. He could change someone's shot from time to time. You just got
Yeah.
to add a big body next to him, like a Precious, like a Cat, like add a little bit of size next to him, so then he isn't having to not only block a shot but have to go grab a rebound. Like we
Right.
are playing so undersized that when someone goes for a block, the next available option for a rebound is OG, who isn't good at rebounding, and then Hart. And we know Mikal barely touches a rebound, barely gets his hand on a rebound. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's definitely not that guy. So,
I'm just trying to find out. Yeah, I want to see I don't know what the original story is from, but it's on Hoop. Excuse me. It's on Hoops Hype. It's on Empire Sports Media. and someone else. It was somewhere else. That's where I saw it. Somewhere else. I just can't remember what it was. Anyway, the quote
Right.
is. A league source indicated that the Knicks have been searching for a player development focused coach to head the program, reaching out for permission to speak with candidates and putting the onus on speeding the learning curve for young players on their NBA roster. Steve Popper wrote that. And, Steve Popper is a writer. I think
legit.
I don't know which. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it looks like it's real, guys. And that's a shame. that's not good. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing there, but it is what it is, guys. Shout out to J. Terrence Ridge in the building. J. Terrence said, our bench might be the worst in the league at Still Knicks Fans. Au contraire, J. Terrence Ridge. It is the worst in the league. Statistically, it is ranked 30th. So, yeah, your eyes ain't fooling you.
I would
true.
like to see what that looks like in regards to minutes played. Right? Can you break it down to minutes played versus other teams? Because other teams, like, other teams played their bench a lot more than we do.
That is a very good point, John. You're the first one to say that, and I think that there's something to that. If we lead the league in minutes played as a starting unit, right? If we're top 20 and we're top 5 with 3 of our guys, the bench doesn't even get a chance to play as much as other teams' benches. That's a very good
top
point.
10 with 6 of our guys.
Look at that. Like the rhythm, you know what I mean? This ain't Miami Sound Machine. The rhythm ain't going to get you. You got to get the rhythm, and we ain't got it right now. As I talked about it, I said the Knicks have basically played themselves out of rhythm, right? So what I said was Tom Thibodeau's played these guys so much that they broke their rhythm because they got tired, and then they lost, their could be like little things, shot mechanics, just your release points, certain things, right? But I didn't think about the flip side of it that John just brought up. The flip side is you playing these guys so much, the bench doesn't get a chance to play, and they can't even develop a rhythm. It's a very good point, John.
There's no rhythm there, but you can't build rhythm with 4 minutes here, 4 minutes there. If you get 16 minutes, you're ecstatic because you're like, yo, I really got some minutes in the game. Like Campaign has been recently getting minutes, right? When Shaman went out, it went to Deuce. Deuce got hurt. It went to Campaign. Now Campaign is owning those minutes, and he's played well. Like what he scored today, like maybe 7, 10 points, something like that. Mm-hmm. So he's played well. He's played in rhythm, right? And so Precious the same. He's getting not as many minutes, but he's getting some minutes. But you gotta play those guys at least 15 minutes.
And you know what? It plays into what you're saying, bro, because shout out to Uncle Freezy on Blowing Tears. Check out Uncle Freezy if you haven't already. Please show Blowing Tears some love. He said Campaign has played worse ever since Shamet started getting minutes, which makes sense because it's not the fact that Shamet is here, which is making Campaign play worse. It's the fact that Shamet is here playing minutes, taking more minutes away from Campaign, who needed the minutes to be in a rhythm and play the way he was playing because that's what he was getting before. This is very interesting. Very interesting.
Because the
not good, but interesting.
Way too many minutes. They're playing way too many minutes. Like like you played 9 today, but you played Shamet 4 minutes out of the 9 players. He played only 4 minutes. That's crazy. He ain't ever gonna get any rhythm, specifically defensively.
So now it's reversing. Right now, you give Campaign some more minutes. He starts to play better. Now Campaign is getting his minutes again, but now you're taking away from Shamet. So why even play him 4 minutes? He can't develop a rhythm. You might as well take those 4 minutes and I see what you're going.
Why play him at all? Why play him at all?
I see where you're going. Give those 4 minutes to one of the other guys and give them to Deuce and allow him to. I see what you're saying. You're saying.
So you could play 9, but you have to cut the minutes from some starters. There's no reason why Cat, who was injured today, who came up injured, in the third quarter, he started, the thumb injury came into play, third quarter?
Probably, I think it was around the third quarter, I think it was there.
So, why is he playing 42 plus? Why? For what reason? It wasn't like it was his reason. It wasn't like they needed him on the floor to keep the game close or anything like that. Like the rhythm in the game was flowing. Other people were scoring. Macau was scoring. OG had 10. What's name had 12. Hart. Brunson had it going. You could have spared some minutes there and let someone else build some confidence in the game.
So
Play
here's
9,
another
bro. We got to play 9.
here's another thing that I was just thinking about as you were saying this stuff. Before we get out of here, another thing I was thinking about that plays into John's question about how would I feel about, you know, Josh Hart going to the bench. Maybe, and it sounds kind of weird, but it might. I think it's a good thing because Josh Hart gives the bench. I mean, he's an energy bandit. He gives everybody energy, but he would give the bench energy too, right? But the other thing too is it possible that taking Josh Hart out of the starting lineup and putting somebody else there, maybe a Dadier, and I say a Dadier. Precious. Yeah, Precious is fine. Maybe Precious, right? Because Josh Hart has to work so much harder to be on the floor playing defense and hustling, but also to be a rebounder. Like, he can't just grab rebounds over people. He's got to run and fly in to get the rebounds. Whereas a guy like Precious Achiuwa is taller. He can get the rebounds a little bit more naturally. So it allows him to not work as aggressively, jumping into lanes and cheating. Josh has to cheat to be able to get to the spot to get a rebound, which if he didn't have to cheat, he could stay home and play defense. So I'm saying the reverse is he still have to do that on the bench, but at least the guy who's replacing him in the starting lineup doesn't. So now you got a guy who can rebound, maybe not as good as Josh, but he can rebound. But he's also able to stay home a little bit more, to be a little bit more of a defender. He doesn't have to leave his spot and move. Like, we've seen Josh Hart leave guys wide open on the three just because he kind of has to cheat to stay in a certain distance to get a rebound or to make a different move. Like, maybe Josh going to the bench allows them to get a little bit more defensive stability in the starting lineup.
100%. 100%. Defensive stability, a shot blocking presence because you don't have one with Cat. Someone who can actually give you a little of that, even though it's not going to be exactly what we want as rim protection, but he'll give you a little something, right? And then you come off the bench and you play Hart in his original position at the small forward spot and not have to force him to play the 4. You know what I mean? And then you stay away from Shamit, or you stay away from Cam, or you stay away from Deuce. But you got to only play 2 of those guys. You can't play all 3. You get what I'm saying? And then you bring in Hakporti off the bench. And if you want to give Sims a little minutes, you give Sims a little minutes. So for me, the bench will either be a combination of Campaign, Deuce, and Hart, and you keep on the floor with you a starter, right? You could keep Precious on the floor. You could keep OG on the floor. Whatever the combination, you could keep Cat on the floor with OG, and you still have enough height. But now you can even develop it even more and play Hakporti there at least 10 to 12 minutes. At least 10 to 12 minutes. And give him an opportunity to show what he got off the bench. Because you're not asking him to do anything other than be himself. Be a disruptor. Get one or 2 dunks from time to time. But now Josh Hart plays a small forward. He may 9 times out of 10, he's going to win that matchup off a bench player. 9 times out of 10, he's going to win that matchup. And if Cam is hot, he's going to win his matchup because he's a volume shooter.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And if you want to go defense, you stick with Deuce. If you want to go offense, you stick with Shamit.
Listen, I'm all for that. I think that is a minimalist move that you can make that turns things around. It might take a couple games for it really to take effect, but I think that's something you could do without having to worry about who else can we go get right now when we can't go get anybody at this very moment. Right. And they can't even get guys from the G League because they can't afford them yet. So
what's stopping that?
I would try to do.
You know what's stopping that? Egos. That's what's getting in the way of that. It's egos. Because if I'm Josh Hart, I'm saying, yo, play Precious. I'm gonna get the bench going. Because he's played that role before. And it isn't like he's gonna get minimized minutes. He's gonna play the same amount of minutes. He's just gonna have a different role on the team. He's gonna be that sixth man, that energizer. You know what I mean? That person who's gonna be relied upon to be a stopgap for the starters.
Now it might be the point where I think Josh would be willing to do it. I mean, when he felt lost, he was definitely willing to go to the bench then, but then he got found. But I wonder, do you think Tibbs wants Josh out there because of the camaraderie that him and Jalen have and the playmaking ability that Josh displays?
Yeah, 100%. But then he's not willing to pull OG to the side or pull Mikal to the side and say, hey, I need you to come off the bench because it's a
well, that's never happening. Well, and
that's what I'm saying. It's an ego thing. It's an ego thing. It comes down to like, I've been a starter my entire career. You paid me the money. I'm here to play and I'm here to start. Right? So you're playing 5 guys right now, all starter minutes. Too much. It's
because you know what, John, honestly, we talk about this all the time and everybody's like, no, it's like an automatic no, right? But as much as I would love to see Josh Hart come off the bench with these guys and give them energy and go from there, honestly, the ideal person for me to come off the bench is Mikal. Yeah,
100%.
That's the way it should go.
Scorer. He's exactly.
Scorer. And him and Payne have a camaraderie too. They can play off of each other. Like, that makes sense. But he ain't gonna do that.
Either way, the coach needs to make the decision, regardless of egos. It's the coach's job to make those decisions. If they can't make it for themselves, it's on him.
The other thing,
Jamin also played with them in Phoenix, bro.
That's true too. That's true too. You know, the other thing too, John, is that even by doing that, obviously if you took Mikal out the starting line, same thing with Josh Hart, most likely you put Precious. But Precious goes to the 4. OG can go back to the 3, his comfortable position. And then when you bring in Mikal, just say if you would bring a Mikal off the bench, he automatically could play his comfortable position. You know, he don't got to play out of position.
3.
Right.
You can play him at the 3. So he's a 2-3. And then Josh can play the 2-3. So either way, however you call it, though, either one of those 2 guys will make the optimal sense to bring off the bench.
Optimal sense. Somebody's gonna have to talk.
You should be doing it now.
They should be doing. But you know what? This is
hard to see. They see it.
The problem is Tibbs doesn't have anybody to talk to him, right? At least he had Johnny Bryant. He don't got nobody now.
He talks to Rick. He talks to Chiefs.
But Rick ain't a coach. I don't know. Rick is a coach, but he ain't a coach.
I think they all know, bro. I think they all know. And I think they had the discussions. I think they had internal discussions, and I think egos played a big part in it. The whole decision to have the starting 5 that is right now is all egos. It's all egotistical. Has nothing to do with the actual game itself, because think about it. If they could get enough wins to stay in the hunt, they're going to want to be starters because it comes down to the bag. When you go to arbitration, it affects you if you're coming off the bench. It's the bottom line.
So the best case scenario right now, is that Mikal Bridges sees this and says to Tibbs, hey man, why don't you take me to the bench crew? I'll come off the bench. Come on, Mikal, take one for the team.
It's a combination. It's a combination of Tibbs seeing it, having the reality check with the team, and seeing if they're willing. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, they don't even have to be willing. He just has to make the move for the betterment of the team. Right?
Well, somebody's going to have to say something, bro.
Yeah.
Because it ain't going to come from the front office. Leon Rose already said, I'm not going to tell Tibbs how to coach. So
right. And he shouldn't.
No, he shouldn't. You're right.
Right. So it really comes down to themselves, you know, finding the reality of how they're playing and seeing it for themselves, and then realizing that they're coming out lackluster. And if they don't have it, you know, if they're not knocking down shots early on in the game, they struggle to get it going defensively. That's just the reality. This team is not a defensive first-minded team. They're not. And we got the wings, but they're not that. They don't have that mentality.
It's true. Well, listen, guys, appreciate you all tuning in and showing love to the show. I know you guys are all disappointed after tonight's loss, but I do want to say one thing just real quick. This is a bad loss because the Knicks should have won the game, but I don't want people to. This is not the same Detroit Pistons, okay? This is a Detroit Pistons team that's excelling. They're on the rise. They're starting to play really good basketball. Their young players are getting better. They're looking like they're going to be a good team going forward. So don't treat it like it's a disrespectful loss. Like when we lost to Orlando, that was disrespectful. That was bad. Detroit is not they're a problem. They beat some good teams in this league and they're getting better. So the Knicks still should have won this game, but I'm just saying it's not a disrespectful loss. Shout out to Amani the Great from Minneapolis. Good to see you, brother. AJ Live is here. Salute. Thank you for being here, rocking with you. Cully is in the building. What up, Cully? Good to see you. Eddie Marr is here. Thank you, Eddie. So yeah, man, looking good doing it. I see you. What's going on? I just want to say, guys, we got some work to do. There's, nothing happens overnight. They got to put some work in. There are some different things that maybe, John and I were just talking about that we would hope that the team should consider. But one of the biggest things that has to be considered is the fact that Tibbs is still playing these guys too many minutes. John already said the idea of I didn't even know. I couldn't even tell. But when you look at it now, it's almost moronical. Like it's ridiculous.
It is.
This cat hurt his freaking thumb and he played 43 minutes, the most of anybody. Like it's
That's
just
crazy
against a short team. I get it. Maybe you like, oh well, Cat's the tallest guy on the court, taking advantage. No, because if it was an advantage, we would have won the game comfortably. But we didn't.
Right.
So,
and I find it hard to believe that anyone who was watching this game felt like we didn't have a chance at winning this game if Cat didn't play. Like even 5 minutes, because it's like, yo, get your hand right. Like, check it out. Like, get it, you know what I mean? Tape it up. Do something so that it ain't killing you or something. You know what I mean? But 42 plus, that's wild. That's wild.
We got to get it right, man. We got to get it right.
When the season started, everyone was talking about Tibbs is playing these guys way too many minutes. I was like, well, you know what? It's the start of the season. Nobody should be tired, right? That was my take. It was like, yo, it's early on. They just need to get their rhythm, and then things will shake out to where they need to be shake out. But now it's just becoming like, it's becoming intrusive. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like it's becoming a detriment to the team. It's like, you can't keep doing this. It doesn't make sense. You got guys on the bench for a reason.
And I agree, Nick Yak. Most likely, I wouldn't be surprised if Cat doesn't play the next game because that thumb is going to swell up. It's going to be sore. And because today he was playing but it was still the same night. You got the adrenaline and everything. But tomorrow is going to be a different story. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has to take a game off, at least.
Wait, we play tomorrow or Wednesday?
No, I think we play Wednesday. Let me see.
Yeah, so he'll probably, depending, he might get a cortisone shot, depending on what they find out, if there's any X-rays that show.
Yeah, Wednesday against Philadelphia.
Because the cortisone will get the swelling down, it'll clear it up. You know what I mean? So, but if it's any damage, then he's out for sure. If there's any any what they call it, like a strain on the thumb, strained thumb. That's
any ligament issues. Yeah, definitely got to watch out. Shout out to Clavins Duras as well. Salute to you. I see you. Thank you to everyone here. Please smash that like button if you haven't already. It supports the show. We appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who subscribed. Thank you to the people who are members of SKF. Appreciate you guys always supporting. Shout out to Anna Grill as well. John, your final words, my brother?
My final words is that we gotta hope that Tibbs wakes up from his whatever this is going on. You know what I mean? Folks are saying Precious Terrence, for instance, has just placed there. Precious and McBride has played a lot better last year, guys. they ain't giving us anything off the bench. I spoke on this because they're not getting the same amount of minutes that they were getting the year before. Those guys were playing upwards of 20 minutes last year, both of them. Look at their minutes today. Look at their minutes today. They were under 20 minutes. None of them played 20 minutes. Why? For the purpose of what? Because we have what? Better players on the starting rotation? There's no reason why OG's playing 38 minutes. There's no reason why Macau needs to play 38 minutes. When you give 4 of those minutes up, when you give 6 minutes from Cat playing 42 over to Precious and over to Deuce. He has to make it make sense. It's up to Tibbs. Tibbs has to make it make sense because right now it's not making any sense. Anyway, it's always a pleasure being with you, Ron. Chopping it up with you. It's been overdue. Looking forward to the next one. Everybody be safe out there. Man. That's all I got. Stay safe. Be blessed. Catch you on the next one.
Yeah. Appreciate you, brother. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. But I think the biggest point, which is what I agree with, the John, is it's about the consistency in minutes and being able to get a rhythm. Can't get a rhythm if you don't play consistent minutes. And even the reverse happens. You saw, I think Nick Yak had mentioned all the guys, maybe the starters. All the starters played the whole third quarter, the entire third quarter. I mean, what are we doing? 12 minutes straight? Like, this is the problem with Tibbs that we've talked about. You cannot, it's one thing to say, I got to play these guys minutes, but you don't play consistent. You got to break it up. This is the same problem he ran into with Julius Randle, and he knew it. And we talked about it. Everybody talked about it. Now you're doing it with multiple guys. Like, whatever. I don't know, man. We're going to get through it somehow. Anyway, I want to thank everybody once again. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to our guy on the ones and twos, Jose, for holding us down. He don't got no soundboard, so he can't do that. But appreciate you, Jose. Thank you, my brother. Hey, man, thanks to everybody out there. As I always say, tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still Knicks fans. We'll be back again, whether it be on Monday nights at 9-ish for SKF Weekly. Saturday, as I talk y'all off the ledge at 11:30 a.m. And, there's been a lot of that lately. I've been spending 6 hours talking to y'all, man. I'm not going to calm down. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. But thank you for always support. Yeah, it's crazy. I thank you guys, man. I appreciate all the support and the love for myself, for John, and for Jose. He would tell you the same. But as we like to say here, no matter what, through the ups, through the downs, the good, the bad, no matter what, we are here and we are still Knicks fans. Appreciate y'all. Take care. Peace out. One yourself. We out.
New York Knicks. First. Go Knicks.
We can finally, start playing, man. So much talk this whole summer. It's felt like so long because we've had so much to talk about. At times it's been kind of slow, but we've been talking, right? But we've actually had a really good off season for this New York Knicks team, and it's been very active. There's been a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, Knicks family, we in the building. I am the Objective Fan from the Objective Knicks Fan channel. And I'm going to give a big salute to Ron and John from Still Knicks Fans.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Knicks family, I'm Stephanie, a.k.a. Blood, Sweat, Tears. We are still Knicks.
What's going on, everybody? It's your girl, Lady and the Chef, right to Knicks Chick Podcast. Still a Knicks fan.
What's good, party people in the place to be? It's your man.
What's up, everybody? This is Steve Relax 21 at 2 Knicks Chick Podcast, and I'm still a Knicks fan.
Yo, this is your boy Sim from Nothing But Knicks. Through all the struggles, through all the heartache and pain, ladies and gentlemen, I am still a Knicks fan.
Peace, y'all. This is Apollo Reed from the Garden Knicks crew. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm still a Knicks fan.
I'm still here. We're still here. Still Knicks fans. It's a fandom. It's a lifestyle.